Well, hello, everybody.
What's
Welcome
up?
to the X Factor.
Hello.
Episode 1. I'm starting over. And Greg showed up tonight, so we're going to let him host.
Nikki Cameron from Australia is here.
I just messed with Greg there.
That's okay. And Irene from Japan.
Oh, yeah, Miss Irene.
That's awesome. Hi, Irene.
So, as usual, before a podcast starts, we always come out with like a talk that we're having that should have been on the podcast. So, it started to get interesting, Anthony. You know what you're talking about, and
But I was talking about Greg.
where you're talking about like your podcast,
How interesting am I?
making fun of Greg, and I guess it's happy birthday to Stephen Woodard.
Hey, Stephen, happy birthday.
Yeah, but I think it's late.
I don't think he's in here right now.
I thought it was. Wait a minute. Wasn't it last week?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was last week.
I don't think anybody really knows when their birthday is. Realistically,
I think Stephen keeps it.
I mean, if my soul's 100 million years old, when is my birthday really?
I don't know. You better
Pick a date.
throw a dart at the wall.
Yeah.
So do you want to discuss any of that you were talking about, Anthony?
Let me turn all this stuff down. I wanted to know how many fish you killed.
I don't kill fish. Jenny Sullivan Sannyasi's here.
What's up, Jenny?
We were on the water. We were on for a long time. Every day. From like 7:30 in the morning till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And that's when pretty much after the sun's dipped. And then we make a mad dash back for camp so the bats don't eat us up. Wow.
That sounds pretty cool.
No, there's not. They're there, but they don't bother you on the water. They swoop down. They're grabbing bugs and stuff. So, but it's a very beautiful location. There's a million square miles of shoreline, and it's got 100,000 islands to it.
Wow.
So you can
And
get
you went
lost.
to, a lot of them, or just stuck with one?
Ours is what?
Or did you just stay with one island?
Well, we actually stay on an island that's in the United States in the middle of Canada.
Oh,
okay. What that amounts to is the Northwest Territory Treaty that was like 1890, and whoever it was, I think it was the French, they gave it back to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a peninsula that goes out, and then there's a series of like 4 islands that go out, and those are all U.S. possessions in the middle of, like I said, Canada. Canada's all around you, so you have to have different paperwork for when you're there, because every day you're in the United States and you go into Canada. As soon as you get on your boat and leave, you're in Canada. Mm-hmm. So there's all sorts of different ways that you have to look at it. But we've been doing this for so darn long now. I mean, we were looking at the other day when we were up there, we were looking at we started going over to it's called the Angle, Northwest Angle of Lake of the Woods. And we started going to the Angle back in 88, I think. And then we stayed at the same place every year. We love the people. They're like family to us. That's my muskie family, because most of the guys that stay there all fish muskies. So, you know, it doesn't mean necessarily you come home every year with one or two. I had a big year in 16, and that was the last year I really had. I've had a couple 45s, 46s, but the big ones are over 50 inches. So that's considered a trophy. And I had two back-to-back fish over 50 inches on two consecutive casts. It was quite an accomplishment, but I still today, it doesn't hit me that way. You know, you're only as good as your last cast.
Did you say that when you're on the island, you're in America, and when you're in the water, you're in Canada?
Yes.
So if you get on a boat, do you even need to bother with a fishing license in America?
Yes. No, you have to have your Canadian license there, but you go beyond the boundary, the water boundary between the U.S. and Canada, and you go south, you go into Minnesota.
Oh.
So there's a whole section that's called Big Traverse Bay, and it's huge, and that's in the United States. Plus, there's quite a few of the southern shorelines that are still U.S. But it's
so if you catch a fish in Canada and it's in your boat, and you take your boat on into America, can you get in trouble for exporting the fish?
We would, number one, we wouldn't bring the fish in the boat.
I'm being funny.
We bring them in and we measure them. We take a picture and we let them go. I
was trying to be humorous, Greg.
That's okay. I understand, Reggie.
I know if you take some reptiles you can't go into Texas with or out of Texas with, and so I was just joking.
We've never really done it. We've never kept the fish.
So you just catch and release all the time then?
Yep.
Well, that's good.
For the big ones, for the big skis. You know, and then as far as, you know, if we pan fish back home, or we pan fish in Wisconsin, but not up there. They have some huge crappie though up there. It's a lot of fun. So it's great to have you guys on tonight.
Yeah.
I'm glad he invited me on tonight. Because I just
it's nice to see you, Greg. It's nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it last night, Greg, and so I thought I'd ask you.
It was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In about an hour, Howard might be showing up.
You're kidding.
Nope.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. But I just got done making 3 meatloaves that I'm going to smoke, and they're all going up to Wisconsin for our meal for the week.
Now, so I think that this is as good a time as any to have Anthony talk about this new show.
What new show?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Show, you know, the show that went south the last time that
Reggie's on drugs again.
Oh, I don't know. He's
You're
ratting me out.
Hallucinogenics. He's been. No.
Yeah, we tried to do that show once, and it turned into the Unholy Trinity.
What was everybody saying? It's always the quiet ones, right?
Yeah, I like that intro.
That was very nice.
Still working on it.
Now on to mine, and I guess I have to do some talking. I have to talk, you know, to certain people, so I could go ahead and branch out a little bit.
Oh.
So I'll be around you guys all the time. So that'll be good. And we could all come on and have parties every time we have a show.
Oh yeah.
unless we're doing what Anthony wants to do with those other guys, and then we have to get hoods and carry. Do we have to have live torches too, Anthony?
Yeah.
The women are always naked.
You do that stuff too. Nothing scary about it.
No, there's nothing scary. I'm not. You know what? I think what's really important about the whole thing is what Anthony was saying in the very beginning. Is there's a lot of people in the paranormal community that just don't understand what's there.
Yeah.
And what's not seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they go into a location and they come up with a couple pieces of evidence, they don't ever take the time to really find out what the real root cause is.
Mm-hmm.
And without doing that, and without taking that time, or if they get a growl on a recording or something, and it's like, well, it's just it's not a friendly spirit. Well, Lord only knows what it is. You know, they have to be aware that there's things out there that, don't do a lot more than go bump in the night.
You also have to realize it's not like TV. Just because you see these shows on TV, that's not real life. That's not when you go investigate. It's not. And if you want to be a paranormal investigator, I don't say ghost hunting, I say investigator. I don't like the word ghost hunting because you're not hunting ghosts. You're not hunting anybody, but that's my thing. But if you want to be something like any show, just because you've watched it, it's for fame and fortune. You're not going to get it. Everybody in this group has done it for years, possibly, and I don't ask for anything. I don't know about Greg, and I don't know about Reginald or Anthony, but I'm not in it for fame and fortune. I do it because I like to do it. This is what I like to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Reggie charges me to be on this podcast.
I had to change how I charged him though. It's by the minute instead of the hour now.
Oh, that's
okay.
60 minutes, man. It's killing
I get charged by the month.
Now I even go one step farther, Azariana. I don't like using the word investigate either. I call myself a communicator.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. And it's not what's out there, it's who's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is a who.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is a someone. It's not necessarily a somebody, because there is no body, in front of us, but they're all someone. Mm-hmm. And that's how I come forward to them, because, it drives me crazy when I watch these videos where people are going, did you see that? It's over there. It did this. It did that. It did this. I got a picture of that. Did you see this? Did you see that? That is someone trying to communicate with you. Whether they're trying to tell you to get the hell out of there or not, I don't know. But they're trying to communicate. They're in the room because they know you're in there. They're either trying to avoid you or they're trying to approach you. And it's someone. It's not an it. It's not a that. It's someone.
What do you think happens to them as far as how they feel if you start to scream and turn around and run out of the place?
Well, exactly. That's the same thing that I talk about whenever, like, people use the word creepy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a person walk up to you, a human being walk up to you and walk by you and go, oh, he's kind of creepy, talking about you? It makes you feel bad. It gives you this uneasiness about yourself. So why wouldn't it a spirit?
What he's doing with the show, I think, is like almost threefold. because Anthony can take this and take the people that he knows and bring it all together and give everybody almost like an encyclopedia as far as what that side's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's real. I
Mhm.
understand it's real. When I came on that one night and the hearse was there, it was like, wow, and we made eye contact and immediately I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Hearse is the real deal.
Yeah.
When you talk about you just mentioned him in the beginning,
Ken Allen.
Ken Allen. When you
Yeah.
mention Ken Allen's a great guy, but he's always over there.
Yeah.
To me, it's not that I would go ahead and say, oh, whoa, and put up the cross and everything like that, because he's just a guy. He's a guy that
Mhm.
understands things that I don't understand. Does it make him better than me? No, by no means. It makes him smarter than me in the respect that I don't know what he knows. And that's why I said, if you did this with the show, can you imagine the people, and I'm not saying a ton of people will show up.
Yeah, they will.
I feel they will, but I'm saying, you've always got to go ahead and put a damper on it and keep a lid on it so that it doesn't go to your head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not saying it in disrespect to you at all. I think it's a great idea and a great plan. And what you're doing is something that's above and beyond what a lot of other people in the community are trying to do.
But I think it's gonna premiere Thursday or Friday.
You better hurry up because I'm going to Wisconsin. I'll be in Wisconsin Thursday, Saturday, or Friday. So I have to try to find a different way to watch it.
Nah. But yeah, I don't look at them any different than any other spirit.
I mean, we all.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, we all have dealt with various things that we either can't explain or we do research on it because we don't know about it and we have to learn more. Now, Hearst, he is the real deal, Greg. He is. And I would, and he doesn't creep me out.
No,
there are times when I want to learn certain things,
And he's a person you could go to and get an answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
What was
Where's he at? Where'd he go? There he is.
Definitely.
Oh, hurry up.
So guess we're ready to get a link sent to him. I'm going to send him a link right now.
Yeah. He's another one of the, and if it wasn't for Anthony, I would have never met him.
Yeah.
I sure got him good the other day. I know you're listening, Hearst, talking about aliens.
Was he talking about aliens?
All the beings are aliens. Come on in, Hearst. I just sent you one.
He says, okay.
I just sent you one. You're more than welcome. Come on in.
So you go down and say hi to Nikki Cameron, Carol Garcia.
Guys.
Love that lady. Sam Thomas, the Hearst Man, Debbie Wallace Hagan, Marilyn Bast, Jenny Sullivan Sannyasi, another great lady, Marilyn Bast, and Carol Garcia again.
What's going on, everyone?
It's great having you guys. Great to have you on here. I know Reggie and go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I wish I knew Hearst years ago. I was dealing with something that was really out of my league.
There he is.
You know,
Somebody
and
summoned
I
the
didn't
Dark
know.
Prince.
And if I had known him, I would have definitely gotten a lot of information. Hello.
Hello.
We're kissing all over you, Hers.
Yeah,
it was sort of like a paid advertisement.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking that. I was thinking, dang, I'm gonna have to charge for this.
I'm not getting any money for this. This is out of the goodness of my heart.
I'll take cookies.
If you haven't met her yet, Hurst, this is Azariana.
Azariana.
Hello.
Hello.
So.
Yeah, I just put my magic class to somebody else so I could join you guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Which school are you with on that?
I teach dark magic, white magic, mentorship, mediumship, shadow work, the whole 9 yards.
I know you mentioned the other ones, but I didn't remember the one that you just mentioned before we started. You know, as far as the magic's concerned.
Yeah.
So you don't bring out a top hat and anything like that, and then they have a rabbit pop out of it or anything.
Yeah, fair warning, Hurst. We got a lot of dry humor out of Greg.
Yeah, I know, Greg.
Hurst knows me. I enjoy him immensely. That's why I like to just like Anthony, you know.
Oh yeah.
Very cool people.
Of course, I tend to do that kind of humor too.
Yep.
So what are y'all talking about that brought me into the equation here?
You were brought up when we were talking about Anthony's show that he's starting to.
The new one.
Get going.
I wasn't talking about it. You brought it up.
Who brought it up?
Reggie did. That was before we went live. He's kind of letting the bag out of the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
The bag out of the cat.
Yeah, both ways.
Well, it's a good thing what we're doing, because you know there's a darker side of the paranormal no one wants to talk about.
Right.
You know, there's a whole other side of this that everybody wants to brush underneath the carpet and go, it's okay, let's not go there. It's okay, just stay here. And you have to go on the other side once in a while.
Just to find out what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, to find out what's there and also deal with real cases, you know, there's a lot of cases out there that you just can't go in and say, Demon Bob, get the fuck out of here. You know, you have to figure out why it's there and figure out what is reasoning. You know, is it a portal? Was it summoned? Is it on the land? Is it with a person? Is it a generational curse? I mean, you had to go through all that, you know, study to figure out, or is it a mental condition? I mean, it could be all that, just be a mental condition. Right. So you have to go through all them guidelines and all those procedures to find out what you're really dealing with, instead of just jumping on the conclusion of someone saying, I see a demon. Well, good for you. Prove it to me, number one. And number two, let's look at your mental health. Number two, let's look at the situation.
Yeah, I know when I started with the Warren Legacy Foundation, they have a real big background as far as how they're handling or how they would be dealing with all these different cases and all the different people that are involved on one, rather than put it on one, you know, put it on 5 or 6, you know, so then you get a real good idea of their thoughts on the matter too. So
yeah.
You come to a conclusion. I know that it's a real hard thing when it's in the real world, you know, and it comes on at you. And there's not a lot of people that have gone into that much that I know, except for people like you, Anthony, because of the woods. That's enough to drive anybody totally. I would really love to go to the woods.
Boy, I can't wait.
I would need a parachute or something.
Well, that's like with me though. I mean, I have a certified nurse. You know, we got psychologists. We have all kinds of different things on my team. Um, Ex-sheriff, detective. He's been to school for lie detecting, so he could just look at you, read your pulse, read somebody and know what's going on. Those are the kind of people I carry with me on my team, so we can get a true reading of what's going on. Because a lot of people think, oh, it's her. He's going to jump into any situation that's dark. No, that ain't true. I want to know the case. I want to know what I'm going into. I want to know if it's bullshit. I want to know if it's made up. So you have to go through all those factors. I mean, people don't know how I do it personally, but we have a case log where we literally go through and we look and we check and we double check and background check and all that stuff. And I think that's what's needed. We got too many people in the field that just jump to conclusions when someone calls them up and say we have a haunting. Well, that is 2023. Everybody says they have a haunting.
Yeah, private investigations on homes and places like that are entirely different than when people go out on an investigation to a haunted establishment to spend money for it. That's the thing. That's the private locations are where things come into play, like what you're talking about.
Yep.
Where you really have to get into the nitty gritty and find out what's really making it tick. How many investigations on the private level have you ever done where you have the feeling or you have come to the conclusion of something beyond paranormal? So into the demon end of it.
I would say probably only 20% of our cases are really dark. The rest are pretty much pissed off spirits that haven't crossed to the other side. Low, I call low level entities where they're there just because someone's summoning them in, playing with magic. Witches, I call baby witches that didn't know what they were doing. Someone going through a mental breakdown, they created a poltergeist. Because a poltergeist is created from someone's thoughts and emotions, they can't keep it inside, so they project it to the outside. And if that ain't taken care of in a long-term fashion, that poltergeist actually turns into its own entity, which is really awesome about poltergeist. So you have to really look and study and see what you're doing.
I know the reason I asked you that is because quite some time ago, the Johnson brothers from up on the East Coast,
Yes.
two brothers, and they had talked, and I want to say one of them had said that out of all the cases that they've ever been on, they only had 2 that were actually demonic.
Yeah, they go more. Well, they're like a flip flop. They go on the deliverance preacher side, and then they go on the mediumship side. So they're like a flip flop.
Yes.
They like go left to right with each other. With me, I get contacted for the worst cases. So when you contact me, I'm only taking the ones that I know that should be that way. I want to prove they're that way before I go into it, but I am looking for the worst. That's what I get hired on for.
I do have a question also, and I want to just find it before. I don't want to go ahead and say anything out of bounds. But anyway, a friend of mine had gone ahead, had been contacting me for different things that have been going on in the community and everything else. And every time they have a question, they'll go ahead and ask me. And I am just going to read it. I'm not mentioning any names, but this is what they had to say. And if I'm stepping out of bounds, I sincerely regret it because I don't like sharing this kind of stuff. I have a question, not sure if it is in your wheelhouse. I don't know if you heard about the situation at the AGA Foundation. Now, I don't know what the foundation is. I haven't looked it up yet. This just came to me, but as long as you're here, maybe you can look into it. Give me some insight on it. A friend of mine had their dad donated to this foundation where he died per his wishes. They have been for months trying to contact them regarding getting his body back. They were ignored until they reached out one last time. They stated if they were not contacted and with the situation they're in, they would seek a lawyer. They got an immediate reply stating their father was cremated and will ship ashes to them. In light of the situation, they're afraid it will not be his remains. They are worried that there will be many upset souls due to the horrific treatment of the bodies. They are very spiritual, and they told me about experience they have had in their lives. And she told me about the experience that they have had in their lives. She is afraid to accept the ashes as she has no proof it's her dad. She's afraid that an angry presence could come with the package. She is very frightened. Do you think she has cause to be concerned? Any suggestion on what she should do? And then I'll just leave it at that. I don't know what AGA is. Should probably Google it. But I just wanted to get a little idea what you would think right off the bat, right off the top.
Hearing their spiritual, I'd have to figure out what that means. Number one, what is their beliefs? What are their practices? And then I'd have to go down that. Say it again.
What are their spiritual?
Yes, the person that's writing the letter to you. So then I would have to figure out, once I figured that out, I'd have to go down the path of what they believe and then operate as they believe. So say Christian, they believe absent of the body, you're not with the Father. And it sounds like they're not that because the Bible scripture states that he would be in heaven. So I'd have to figure out where they're going at, what they believe in, and then work with that in that realms to get a connection, like a sign. Can you give me a sign? These are your ashes. And the safest way I do that with all religions is I usually tell them to light a candle in remembrance of them, because everybody has a candle. Not very many people are afraid of a candle. And can you give me a sign? And just sit there and watch it. And if that, ask that person to give them a sign through the flame. If the flames, can you move the flame real fast, or can you blow out the candle? This is your ashes. Can you give me that confirmation? And that's where I would start. I would let them communicate and see if they can get a sign if it's their ashes. Number two, if they're afraid of anything that's evil or anything like that, I would say easy way to hide it, and you can talk about salt, and salt can be used for protection in any religion. They can put a little dab of white salt underneath the container or the box and just set it on that box. Now the box is grounded, and that person feels safe. They feel secure, and then they can go into step two of finding out who it is, if it is, and what it is. That's what I would do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And if they are a Christian, and again, if they are Christian, you find out they are Christian, I would say, they use a cross. So I would say take a cross or a necklace or a crucifix and set it on the box until they get confirmation, until they feel safe.
Beautiful. Everybody agree? Not that you're going to disagree with us anyway.
Yeah.
These are our Zoom meetings in the morning with our cases. So it feels just like I'm at home.
I understand, and I was just, once again, being a little crazy there. What do you think, Anthony?
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I agree. I'm over here cheating though. No way. I gotta get back on that screen. Sorry.
Always busy with something else.
I can't help it. I
Was
told you
he,
it's
was he, is he on
24/7.
is he on a, Hurst is here and he's on another podcast?
It's 24/7. You don't ever stop.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it is with me too. So I understand.
Yeah, it's no, but I agree. I agree with what her saying. I mean, you know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I just, when you start to go ahead and you get something like that, and it's not the first time that this person has talked to me or messaged me. It's probably the third. And some of them had to do with another person entirely. And it was a different location. And it was things that, you try to tell them the best you can. But now that we have Hearst with us, you could be our mobile commander.
That's fine. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that because I thought, wow.
Me personally, I wouldn't believe anybody if they told them that it was my father's ashes. I wouldn't believe them. But I wouldn't be worried about an angry spirit coming along with them if it wasn't my father, because I know if I was that spirit, I'd have been haunting the guy that cremated me in the first place. I wouldn't be hanging out with my ashes. I'd be going after the guy that separated me from whoever I was supposed to be with.
Who was stuck in the pan?
Yeah, but you also have to look at it though. If you get someone that was an a-hole on this side of life, they're going to be an a-hole over there.
Well, yeah.
So that person could come to that house and say, you know what, I don't care who it is, and cause a very bad haunting.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation, and a lot of people run into these things. Even when you have a relative.
Well, you also have to respect their spirituality. What is their religion?
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you know? Like when you get a relative's ashes,
you get a hold of me, and I can tell you when I look at the box. I find someone like me, honestly, that's a true medium psychic. I mean, we'll give you proof of that person's life, what they used to eat, what they used to watch, their personality, it'll come through with proof with a real medium psychic. So that's another way someone could find out for sure, is by having a real connection. Not just someone comes on and goes, oh, I smell your grandma's perfume. Your grandma's here. Yeah, right. It's like, just stick that up somewhere and give me some accurate proof.
Right. Awesome answer. Victor Santiago's here.
Oh.
Kimmy Corpse.
Don Pick himself.
Mort Ollie.
Cool.
Where's Mort from?
Yeah.
Do you know where he's from, Mort? Does anybody?
I can't get on there.
You can't what?
I can't go.
I think he's from my state. Where I am.
Reggie has the power.
Reggie has the power.
Who am I supposed to find out about?
You're gonna pull out the crystal ball now?
Have your aliens do a background check real quick.
They already did. Everybody's wonderful.
Any
Connecticut.
They all live within the Earth's atmosphere.
Anne Marie Young's here now. Hi,
Yeah.
Anne Marie.
I'm glad I got aluminum foil on my head, because they definitely didn't read me then.
Oh wow.
My head's on the
Smile.
wrong.
What's going on, Anthony?
Huh?
You're actually smiling. What's going on?
Me?
Yeah, I see your teeth, brother.
Many years ago.
What's that?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Many years ago, when I was first starting out, I had an interest. I had an interest in investigating and communicating with spirits, and I was asked. I didn't know anything, didn't know anything at all, and I was asked to try to help a family. Well, it was very bad, and it was demonic. It was evil, and it scared me to the point that uh, I got out of it. I didn't do anything for many years. It was just so horrible. It followed me home. I had problems myself and my family. It was horrible, and I had to call. I um I was not working with them, but I knew the Warrens and who they were working with, and I said, "Look, you got to help me. I can't deal with this anymore. It's driving me crazy." And they took over that. I just said no, and it I stayed out of it for many years. I I I said, I have to learn about it because you can't just go in it and say, "Oh, I'm gonna," and I'm gonna do this and not know what you're doing. Exactly what Hirsch has been saying and everybody else says. You have to learn, you know?
As a person with over 500 haunted dolls myself, plus several haunted items from the Warrens Museum, I would say my collection is probably just as haunted as the Warrens. And you definitely have to learn how to deal with it and work with it, give it respect, know what you're dealing with. Is this show at NC-17 or 18? I don't know. Can I cuss?
It's always up in the air on these shows. Yeah,
they're not going to remove them. You're fine.
Okay, then you get these assholes out there that literally, they come in on TikTok, different places like that, and they teach people they can tell a spirit what to do. They think they can control entities. They think holy water is going to save them and all this stupid shit. And people start watching this and they start acting and doing as they see without learning truthfully how to do it. And then you start seeing their life fall apart. You start seeing their family fall apart. You see their, issues in their home. The furnace goes out, the washer goes out, and things like that. That's how true demonic works. They don't usually stand up and go, "Hi, I'm Demon Bob. You summon me? I'm going to kick your ass now." That ain't how they work. They come from behind to destroy you. Now, if they possess you, that's a whole different thing. That is something you really piss something off. But that's rarity. So you have to know and respect what you do in this field. Unless you're Reggie, they're just alien. Demons are just aliens from darker planets. I wish I had that. I wish I had that belief.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Linda's got a good question there for us.
That's why I rely on people that are more knowledgeable than me in the field, because if I cannot help somebody, I'll tell them I can't help you, but I'll refer you to so and so. I'll get in contact with them so you can get help from them, because I don't know how. I'm not even going to try. It's not. I'm not going to mess with it.
Adriana, how many people do you normally take into a place like that?
When I do investigations.
Yes.
Or well, there's Rebecca and myself right now, and she's working to expand her team, but it's been us that go to the places right now. We haven't dealt with anything that is there is negativity, but it isn't bad, and we tend to acknowledge it, respect it, and you know, and say, okay, fine, you know, we know you're here, so okay, you know, and other than that, we've, you know, everyone says, oh, you always go to cemeteries and stuff, but I mean, it's the communication, it's the respect of the spirits,
Right.
and there's one that has there's one spot that I like to go to, and there's a portal in back of the cemetery, and I have seen spirits. I won't say negative. I don't know if they're negative or not, but um, spirits coming out of this portal and going in this portal, and I just stay within a certain distance within this portal because I won't go in there. I don't know what to expect, nor do I want to um, deal with anything that I don't know how to deal with. You know,
I understand that.
so I keep my distance. But over there at this place, I have I have two spirits that always come up and say, "Hi, you're back. I'm so glad you're back." And and I felt them, and they come on. They have physically held my hand, and I can feel them, and I get a visualization of what they look like, and I get their emotion, you know, and these spirits like visitors, and they like communicating, and they know that when Rebecca and I go, that they know how to communicate with us, you know.
I seen a question come up about someone's asking me what made me go from light to dark, what shifted me, and this is really good for anybody. So I was a deliverance minister for 24 plus years, traveled the United States, well known revivals in Canada. What got me to switch was seeing how deliverance wasn't really legit in the church. You can make a good show, pull out the holy water, speak in tongues, dance 3 times, stand on your head, make a good show. But when you leave, the spirit's still there. It may feel like it's gone because it's hiding. It goes in a hide zone, and then it comes back meaner than hell and attacks the family, and it gets even worse. Um, I seen how they I seen how they treat spirits, and it showed me a whole different side to the spirit world. And then in the same time, I realized I was operating as a shaman, not as a preacher. And in that time, I had a person come in from Africa, punch me in the stomach in front of the church real hard, pass his mantle to me. And mantles can be passed like that, by transference of energy. And once he punched me in the stomach, I was kicked out of the church a week later. My true shamanism started being shown. So is how spirits were being treated. You just can't rebuke them, tell them to go to hell. I mean, they got purpose. There's gods, goddesses, infernals. There's different ones out there to help you heal. There's different ones to help you learn a path. So there's a whole different path out there when you start looking at it. You just can't make it go away.
Mhm.
That's really beautiful when
Yeah.
you stop and think about that. As far as your shamanism is concerned, do you actually practice shamanism now?
Yes.
Yeah, I have. I have. Well, you know the story. I'm on my second shaman.
Yeah, I practice shamanism, and I'm also a necromancer. So I mix those two together really strongly.
Why those two?
One helps you connect with the other side freely, which is the shamanism with spirits, the underworld, things like that. The underworld comes in with the necromancer. So with me being able to operate in the underworld and with spirits, it makes it where I don't have to battle them. Like some people have to light an altar, they have to summon them, they have to hope they show up. I work with them all. And with me working with them all, I'm able to counsel people that are looking for their gods, goddess, infernals, help them find their abilities, help them find their path. So that's why I mix that together. Now, I don't suggest anybody going that deep and that hard because you literally become like the living dead. I barely sleep. I do this 24 hours a day. I see things 24 hours a day. You can't shut it off. It's a constant. It's a constant 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And for the record, we're all necromancers.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's basic necromancers, and then there's necromancy where you actually go into the art of necromancy, where you learn how to. And I'll just give a quick sample, like with your altar. You bury your altar in a graveyard overnight, so the spirits come onto your altar. You deal with more of the graveyard issues of dirt and bones because you know how to remove energy from a graveyard. A lot of people don't know if you want to curse somebody, which necromancer is really good at. Is if you could find someone really evil at a graveyard, you could take their dirt off their grave, and if you place that dirt at someone's location, now that dirt's disrupted, and now that spirit's going to be pissed off and haunt that person that you're cursing. So it comes all into that different kind of magic, spiritual realm kind of side, and the shamanism side. So that's why I'm so different. I don't think I've ever said it like that on live. Welcome, guys. With hers.
It makes sense to me. That's great.
That's awesome.
I like that explanation. I like that.
That was very good. Very good.
And I do what I do. I try to communicate with everyone that's out there as well. But I look at the dark as another form of the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. And so I don't feel threatened. I just want to get to know him and see what makes him tick and say hi to him. Well,
we are going to meet up, Reginald, one day, and I want to take you to a very dark location and see how you operate.
Oh, I'll be good. I'll be like, hey, Reggie, what's up?
Cameras will be rolling.
Did you see my invisible ship parked up there where Hearst couldn't see it?
We'll have cameras rolling, and we'll have to make sure we know Reggie's pant size by the time he gets done.
And see whether or not he has his underoos on.
Oh man, no, the touching, the scratching, the things moving, like what you would say poltergeist activity, whatever. I mean, what most people would call that if something moves. That all excites me, and I thank them for showing me that or letting me feel them. So I don't think
when you get a 12-foot tall demon coming out of a freaking wall running at you, you'll see. That's where the scar is, actually on this side of my face right here. 87 stitches 20 years ago when a black shadow hand came out of a wall and literally sliced me wide open. So, wow. This stuff is legit. I mean, they could hurt you.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody in this room that wants to lead anybody in the comments section to anything beyond that, because that's just stark reality.
Yes.
We'll be hearing y'all. People in the chat and everything, y'all be hearing more about this. Because I guess I go ahead and do this plug-in then, Reggie, since you already kind of got me out there.
Well, let me plug myself first before people leave.
Yes.
I am called the Ravens Ultra of Darkness. You can find me on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We have a TikTok. We are on Instagram. We're found on all social media. So if you're looking for more of a darker side of a group to find yourself, find help, come and locate me. Ask for who I am. Everybody knows who I am. I'm starting to get well known now, and it feels good. So I'm here to help you guys. And up here is Wrath Prince. I'm going to give him a little plug on this, what's coming up, because I'll be helping him do it. But Anthony used to be a deliverance minister in the church also, and he's been on, I can say, the light side and dark side. And just recently, he's decided to really go onto the darker side to help people, because he's gotten tired of the fake bullshit that's out there. The fake people, the predators, the people that are out there just to fucking try to make it for the money or the game. And that's why we're not here for that. We're here to actually help people, bring evidence, help people be guided in. So a new show is going to be started. And listen to this, what he's about to tell you guys, because with me and him teaming up doing this, this is going to be one hell of a show, because we don't hold back. I mean, we don't care what's going on, who it is. If you're a predator, ask Anthony. Last week on the show, we talked about predators in the paranormal field. Mm-hmm. I literally called out a person's name. I literally said, Tom Wells. Well, I'm going to say it like that anyway, so everybody knows who I'm talking about. And what was it? A couple of days later, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for what I did." Bullshit. You just put that out there because now everybody's on your ass now. That's how we're going to be in this talk show. We're going to be on this with the paranormal teams. We're going to be on this if you're out there doing fake, if you're out there hurting spirits, if you're out there causing bullshit. We're going to be putting you out on the fucking clothesline. Is that true, Anthony?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you tell them about the show now, brother.
Yeah. Well, the show is actually, like I said, since we got this plug in there right now, it's actually we're gonna start it either this Thursday or Friday, one of the 2 days, depending on this guest that I'm gonna bring on. It's an extension of my Wraith World podcast, which this one is called Wraith World's Oracle of Darkness, and we'll have Hers as one of my sponsors already. He actually is one of my Wraith World sponsors, so he'll be co-hosting this with me. So yeah, it's gonna be, like I was saying earlier, what people refer to the dark side, which is we'll have on. We're gonna talk about Ouija boards, rituals, magic. Like I said, sex magic, blood magic, you name it. The stuff that people don't talk about. And not only that. Is just to bring light onto the darkness. Or bring the darkness into the light. But as far as what I mean by that is that there's a lot of people that do this when they go on investigations, but they don't tell you that they do this kind of thing. They keep this to themselves. One, because they're afraid to be judged. Well, you're a satanic, or you're a Luciferian, or you're this, you're that. But a lot of people. Real people don't realize that when we go into these places, it's like Hertz. He had a black hand come out and give him 87 stitches. I've had a Haitian god come after me, almost trying to kill me and wanted me to kill my family and kill everything. Because I went in there and messed his stuff up. So, and that was actually the first time that I ever experienced something like that. To that extent, I've been around a lot of things. I've seen a lot of people, what people refer to witches. I've seen a lot of different types of magic, but I've never had one come after me like that. That was totally different. I mean, out of all the years, I can say I've had one, but that's what I'm talking about. We stumbled across this place. We walked in there, and we didn't realize what really was there. And it kicked my butt. It handed me my butt 3 or 4 times and came back for more, so that's really what I want to bring is bring this where we can talk about and have different people that are all dark. It's all pertaining to that side. It's not going to be about gadgets. It's not going to be about anything else. Just exactly what it says. Oracle of Darkness, and we're gonna bring this. I'm going to bring this into it. along with hers. So we'll be looking out for that. I think it's going to be Thursday or Friday when the first one comes out.
That's going to be a great show.
And to like I put it on the
It will.
post, and like I did when I did the post the other day, be advised, this is not for the faint-hearted because we will be talking some shit.
Yep.
Well, you won't have any problem separating the ones that join and the ones that shouldn't join.
They'll leave pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say to all the viewers that I've had over the last 6 months, or a little over 6 months, that know me pretty well, I haven't heard anything but 100% truth come out of Anthony and hers since the day I met him. That show, you're gonna learn something.
No, I appreciate that, Reggie.
Yeah. Yes. There's a question in the or a statement in the comment. Yes, the shows will be live. You'll be viewing them as they happen. No edits, no cuts, no hiding. So whatever we go on that day and we talk about, and we have our guests, like, give you an example, we want to bring in like a Luciferian, then we want to bring in like a Satan, different religions all on the same panel. I'm going to discuss what darkness is of them. And how do they do darkness? How do they curse? We're going to have shows like that where we bring in different people on the panel and just listen and debate and not arguing, because that ain't going to be allowed because I'll mute their ass quickly. But we want real, true insight of what makes them tick. Now, if they come on there to be a fucking cunt or come on there to start shit, then we'll block him, we'll move him, we'll take him off the show. That's not what this is about. We want just like my buddy Zach says, Zach Baggins. So we want to know what's out there. And it's going to take multiple different spiritual places to go. And it may take you into directions you never wanted to look at. But you have to explore those hidden parts. And that's what we're doing, me and Anthony.
Right. Amen.
There you go. That's the start right there.
I agree. It has to be, it should be discussed. We don't just because it might scare the client, the people you're trying to help, and so it should be discussed. When you say you want to help somebody, you figure out how you're going to help them, and sometimes you have to do things that you won't tell the client or you won't tell the people, just because of that,
Everybody should have somebody on their team or someone they can speed dial or email or text to get a hold of. That's where me and Anthony, we're trying to build this clientele with people to let them know, hey, we're available. We can answer questions and don't be afraid to ask. You don't have to keep this stuff in the dark. Now, my one of my good friends, just for an example, and she won't mind me saying this, but if anybody knows Amy Allen with the Dead Files.
Yes.
If you remember her when she was on the show, she was awesome, right? Well, she kind of got secluded for some reasons we won't talk about. Look at her health in the last 6 months. She's totally went downhill. Knee replacements, everything else. Her health just went. And that's where we're trying to stop. We're trying to bring in people where we can teach you so that it don't happen, so you have a way out. If anybody notices, she is doing better. That's all I'm going to say. And we want to build people. That's why I have teams. I have classes. I have dark magic. I have all these different classes I offer in my area, so we can bring somebody in so they can get educated, healed, prepared. There's a big thing out there no one ever talks about. I never heard the word out there at all until I say it on here, and then it'll be copied. I know, but it's okay. I said it here first. You never hear about paranormal PTSD.
Yeah.
People can get paranormal PTSD from spirits, from entities, from footsteps, being scratched, shadows, being tortured. That's a big thing out there. paranormal PTSD is a very real thing. It's never talked about. It's never offered. No one ever gets that kind of help. It's crazy. My channel is the Ravens Altar of Darkness. You can find me on all platforms. We do have a Facebook group. Type in Ravens Altar of Darkness, and it'll come up. Just fill out the questions. It'll ask you certain questions, and we'll let you in. But we want to educate people. We want them to be prepared. You know, the time of playing Casper the Friendly Ghost, and everything is okay. You can get rid of it in the name of Jesus with holy water or sage is over, because none of that works. And we need to go into the next step and start teaching the next team, the next levels of investigators, the next people, how to truly operate in the paranormal. Because since 2020, I'm sorry I took over the show, guys, but since 2020, ever since COVID hit, people realize they can't call on Jesus and be healed. They realize there's a different realm in spirituality. They realize there's the other side. They started dealing with death. So since that's happened, now everybody's popped up with TikTok. Now everybody's an investigator. Go buy an SB11, go buy a REM pod, put paranormal underneath your name, make a channel, now you're somebody. Until you truly learn how to operate in the realms of dealing with darkness, entities, paranormal PTSD, mental conditions, dealing with portals that have been opened, you know, dealing with Ouija boards that haven't been closed. Until you learn how to deal with all those realms, you're truly not a paranormal investigator. You're just someone with the name paranormal. I don't care who you are. You have to deal with all realms.
Yeah.
Virgil, if you have a question, go ahead and type it in.
Yeah.
You can ask anything.
What's up, Matt? Mr. Paranormal Consultant himself.
Matthew's here. Yeah, you just can't. You gotta paint
I have
all
a question
four
for
sides of the
Greg.
garage. Sure.
Yeah. When you do the Estes on your show, right?
Yes.
With the blindfold in the spirit box, I find that I've said that before. I find that fascinating. I have not done that. I've seen people do it. Now, how does that? Is that different than? How is that different than other ways that you have communicated with spirits?
Well, I normally channel, and what I do in the Estes method is when we start to show off, like you hear us talk about that, and I'm asking for myself to be used as the conduit by which spirit speaks through me. So in essence, that's what I'm doing. I'm channeling. And I ask for the intention of everybody that's in the audience to be on the same plane and ask for us to be able to communicate. Now, if it's good spirit or bad spirit, and Hertz will say it, you know, and so will Anthony, is there's times that we don't know who we're talking to. And it may be under the pretense of being something else, and it's really not. But normally what happens is we get little indicators that come up, and you know, when we pop out of it, we have a feeling about it. And that's what we've done it so much now, and I'm not saying we're good at it. Please don't, because there's no such thing as being good at it. Because at any time we could pick up the same thing too, as what Hertz was talking about. They can come right through to us, and that would be the end of it.
Well, not to interrupt you, but to add to what you just said, if you go to my YouTube channel, Ravens Altar of Darkness, my lead investigator, she works with me, my co-host. About 3 weeks ago, we're doing Estes, and we're at a very haunted location, and she got possessed. And when she got possessed doing Esty, her heart stopped. She stopped breathing for 5 minutes. It was a very, very, very wiry situation. First time I've ever seen it happen, but that is also, the possibility that can happen. So you have to be prepared for everything.
Oh yeah, well, before we even go into it, I know what I do on my end before the show even starts, and I don't know about the other people that are involved, but they've all been to the point in their careers where they understand that things like that can happen, and they have to understand that. I don't think there's anybody that's been on the show. There's a friend of mine that we had an instance that happened for our school out in Iowa that actually freaked out in the middle of an Estes method because of this ticking that was coming through. And we had picked it up about 2 or 3 times before this. And at first, I thought maybe it was Morse code. But it wasn't, because it was above the white noise. Totally above the white noise. And it was operating separately. And it was like, wait a minute, this is crazy. Now, I haven't had that. I've had that happen, I think, once or twice since then.
Do you know what that is?
Do I know what it is? No, I don't.
We call that a time portal. Something has been placed there by somebody else to open at a certain time. So some kind of warlock, some kind of practitioners come in there and place that there, and it's like a time bomb. And that's the ticking you're hearing, because it's on a time clock, and it's going to open sooner or later when it was programmed to be opened. So that's what you're hearing.
So I'm like rolling the dice.
Yeah, if you hear that, be very careful, because you don't know when that son of a gun's going to pop. And it doesn't belong to the building; it belongs to somebody that's placed it there. So you really don't know what you're dealing with.
That's one of the only locations that it's happened.
I placed that question up there because Carol Garcia said, "Reggie, can you ask Hurst my question, please?" And I think that was the question.
Yes.
Tell me to ask Hurst.
She asked. It was a little more refined before that, though.
I think it was this one here where it says, if a person astral travels,
right,
and not really knowing it's happening, and then I think, and then with this one here, that's probably why she feels tired in the mornings. Yeah, and and doesn't know that it's happening.
Yeah, that could be happening. You could be traveling in your sleep. You could be helping people in your sleep. You could be doing a lot of different things in your sleep. So definitely join my Facebook. We can definitely help you in that area. Teach you grounding points, how to ground your body to your soul, so you don't astral project. How to astral project safely, because there is lower realms in astral projection that are dangerous. You just don't want to be floating through space, because you could bring back an attachment. So there's a lot of different things in that. So yes, that's very possible.
Right, and which that brings up to me is that I've experienced that also, and then I didn't realize what it was, because I'm like, I sleep very little. I sleep maybe 1 to 3 hours a night, and then I get up and go work, at 4:30 in the morning every day, and but I felt that there was and this is something that we're going to be talking about on the show. It's the same. It falls right in line. Is that once we held, like at that time, I was I guess I'm trying to find the word. The only word that I know is I was helping my daughter, I was helping her boyfriend, helping my son, but spiritually. So my energy was going this way, and that way, and probably somewhere else. So once you start to do that, it's like Hertz has brought it before. Our energy stays with that person, a little bit of it, and it's still connected to us. So it's like a battery, and you got cables running. Well, it's like here, you got your plug in the wall, and you got 15 things connected to it. When it was really designed only really to have 2, because we only have 2 outlets, but we can put a surge protector and run 7 things off that one line.
Yep.
And then it's just constantly draining us. It's constantly draining us, and we don't realize that. So that can be something that you're doing also, is that you're out there maybe thinking about somebody, because I think you were going through somebody, your friend or somebody, or you, Carol, were going through something at one time. So that can still stay with you, and then that's still connected, and it's draining us a little bit at a time.
That's good. That's a good fact.
It's just draining us a little bit at a time. Our batteries. And if we're not grounding, like Kurt is saying, or disconnecting, and give them, they take that little energy, that we gave them. Now, when it runs out, it runs out. I mean, I would say, but I'm saying it's constantly connected to us. So if you have multiple people that you're helping or thinking about, even just the thought itself, you're going to send that energy, and especially when you're going to sleep, because then we're going to go into our subconscious. We're going to leave our natural state, our conscious here, and then we're really going to do that. So yeah, that's probably where you're doing it.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, Virgil, I just wasn't putting it up yet because they were talking about another subject. But here's what Virgil typed in.
I had to go read it in the main chat. That was small. Let's see.
Yeah.
My main area of interest is astrophysics. What has always fascinated me is the block universe theory, that all reality, including the future, exists now, kind of like destiny. Your death has already happened. Your time car hasn't got you there yet. I make sense of this by thinking of the universe in a thought experiment of mine, as a road with a beginning and an end, and time as a car you drive through it with but no reverse gear. The faster you go, the less you age because of time dilation.
Well, you have to look at past lives. How many past lives has a person had? And you got to look at now and the future. It's all energy. You never truly die. This vessel may go away, but the soul, your energy, your abilities, the gifts you picked up. A lot of people don't look into their past lives and tap into what they already learned. And if they started doing that, they'd realize, damn, I'm powerful. I've done that before. Wow, let me just hit play, or let me reprogram, or things like that. And that goes in the future too, because you also can't look at your past life and then try to manipulate this life and become somebody or better than you used to be, because you'll never be who you used to be. So that all contradicts with, if you try to mess up the past to the future till now, you'll have a mess up. Something will happen. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, when I'm at work, because I'm always talking to the universe, and I know time doesn't exist with them. It could be a second later to them when it was 2 years for us, human time. And I would be, this is kind of an odd example, but I'm living it. And so it's kind of cool, really. My old boss at work never wrote anything down. Like if the machines broke down, and the owner's son came in, and he's the one making me the head mechanic there now. He writes everything down. Well, I was out of the habit of writing everything down. And whenever I had a bad night, I just forgot to write it down. But I'd be talking to the star family, the universe. You know this is going to break down before it happens. Time doesn't exist. So why don't you just let my night be smooth? I'm talking to him. Well, what's so funny about this is I've kind of manifested that, I think, because the other mechanics, they'll have a night.
You had a troll come in, Reggie.
Huh?
You got a troll come in.
Oh, okay. Well, but their night, let me just say this real quick. I'll take care of it. Their night, they'll write down 20 stops in an 8-hour shift. Last week, I didn't have a single machine breakdown morning through close all day Friday. and I only had one machine breakdown morning through close all day Saturday. Sunday rolls around, the guy has 20 stops. So I think they're like going, putting a blanket over me. And this has something to do with time, future, past. That time, but I don't know what word to use for that. But
well, you missed part of his question because he put, "Can we be visited by ghosts from the future?" Now, I want to give you a little. Now, a lot of people don't hear Hurst talk the way I'm talking tonight because a lot of people haven't really been to my classes and stuff because I'm very smart when you get to know me. So I'm going to throw this question out there. You're asking about ghosts in the future. What happens if we're the ghost that the future is seeing?
Very, very good question.
Well, I was just going to say that at one point in time, I had heard, and I think I actually saw it happen. I was down in the parking garage, and there was, with no doubt, it was like a person had walked by. There was a shadow that went across the wall in front of me.
Yep.
And I've been told that it's possible that that's my future self coming back to check on me, or to see what's going on at this point in my human life.
No, Virgil, we were not calling you a troll. We had the person with the Chinese writing. That was a troll we were talking about.
Actually, it's Hindu, and he was he's talking about just advertising if you want to get rid of enemies and discord in your house, entanglements, work.
I didn't read it. I didn't see what kind of writing it was.
Yeah,
but
it's Hindu.
Well, if you do a YouTube search, you'll see where people come out of, like, people are walking down the street and you'll see them disappear. Now we got all these cameras and digital equipment around. You'll see where people come through portals. They'll just be, you'll see cars show up on the road, that shouldn't be there, things like that. So the proof is out there. I mean, there's so much to this besides what people want to believe.
Yeah, and it's amazing that, when I was, again, I don't usually know how to word everything properly, but it all has to do with that time not existing. Like I said, to them, they can go forward, they can go backward, they can do anything they want to do to change anything they want to change at any point in humans' time. And I'll give you one example. I was on Highway 51, and about 2 weeks prior to that, there was an accident where a truck driver wasn't paying any attention. I don't know if it was his phone or what he was doing, but he slammed into the back of a truck and ended up killing somebody on Interstate 51, on 51. And it was on my way to work. I drove through there every day, twice a day. And when I came through, like maybe a week or two afterwards, I could kind of feel the guy. And I started talking to him about how, the truck driver didn't mean to do it. You should just move on, do the right thing and just forgive him because he didn't mean to do what he did. Do the right thing. And it's at that precise moment, and I kid you not, there's a truck in the passing lane going by me, and it's a right-way truck. It said right way right across the side of this truck as I was saying this. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, come on.
Well, here's another one to add to that is when people go on investigations, they get so mad. It pisses me off. I want to throat punch a fucking asshole sometimes. Because they don't go further and look into it. But on their ghost box, you hear, "Get out. Leave. I'm tired."
Yep.
What do you think? We're the fucking ghosts when they're saying that. They're telling us to leave because we don't belong there. We're on their timeline. We're interrupting something that we're not seeing. And people are like, "Oh, I'm not going to leave. I got the right to be here." Well, enjoy the consequences when they snag on you and ride you like a bull because now you're invading their space.
And another thing to add to that, you'd be surprised through your box, if you're using a spirit box, how many times your guide says something to you through there. And a lot of the time, they may be just warning you should get out of that room. I mean, it's simple, you know. It could be just your guide saying, "Hey, Reg, get out of there. Get out." You know, and so many people take that so wrong. You know, some of these crews, you know, like what Hearst was saying, people go in and.
I know if I'm having a lot of obstacles any day, and I know I have my day planned, something's not right. I shouldn't be doing something, you know, and I have to listen to it because in the past I haven't listened to it. That little voice, I call it the little voice, right? Could be a spirit guide, could be whatever, right? But when I haven't listened to it, I've had trouble, you know. I get frustrated. I get mad. I can't, you know, nothing's working, you know. And I go, yep, should have stayed home, you know. Should have stayed home. That kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not supposed
Sorry.
to be here today, you know, or not supposed to go wherever today, you know, because, you know, yeah, they know something's wrong, you know, something's up, you know.
You have to give respect to the other side. You know, that's what I tell people all the time. Give respect. You don't see investigators, you know, go on the show and go, "Is it okay if I come in your place and investigate?" You know, you never see people ask permission. You know, they just assume and go in like the A-team. Man, I want to start a show where we can, like, I wish we could set up cameras somehow and watch these people when they go in there and just start and ask the spirits to kick their ass. Like, if we could, you know, kick their ass cameras, invite a new team every week that don't follow the rules and ask the spirits to kick their ass, that would be an awesome show.
I've actually made the comment several times that I'm not gonna, if I cross over, I'm coming back because I'm gonna go mess with all these ghost hunters.
I'll be the first one you come for, right? Yeah.
Oh, hey, and speaking of which, there's Mr. Brian Laverty in there. Let's see what he put. This Thursday, be there, be there, be there. We're gonna have a boxing match.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good show on Thursday.
It is.
Me and Brian Laverty, we're gonna be boxing.
If I can, I'd like to add something to what Hearst and maybe Reginald were saying before, and Anthony, about past lives. I know just a few of my past lives, and I get fragments of them occasionally. And occasionally I go back and I astral travel and visit those spots, those past lives, you know? And what I've been asking lately is, what can I learn from that past life to this present life? You know, why did I have to go through that, whatever that past life was? You know, is there a lesson? How do I either correct it or work with it? That kind of thing. And yeah.
Well, that's the thing with past lives, is you have to look what happened. I mean, people now, you know, deal with past life karma in their life. People deal with pain, sickness they brought over from a past life, and they don't even realize they brought it over. Fears, phobias, gifts, abilities. It goes all down the list. So when people don't examine what they've already done in the past lives, I think people just wonder, you know, you truly can't spiritually awaken your abilities and knowing what's going on until you really examine everything. You just can't pick it out and go, Well, I want to be a witch. I want to be a this. I want to be a that. Order on wish.com and hopefully you get it. It ain't how this works.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through healing. You have to go through all these different things to become this. And it's a lot of work.
Yep.
You guys are making me sound like a freaking doctor tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Hurst. Yeah.
So good.
And then when we bring those gifts over, those abilities over, they're still with us. It's just that we forget because we're coming as a baby now. If it's gonna, into our life now, but I know that for myself that, speaking for me, a lot of the stuff that I know, I already knew and I've known. It took me as I was getting a little, through my younger age. I knew how to do things. Even at 8 years old, I was doing magic. That was nuts. Now that I know, after a while, several years and years and years, I look back and I said, you know what? You were doing this. You were doing this, when you were 8. I mean, you were manipulating energy. You were doing, moving your hands like, how you see some people do Reiki and all that. I knew how to do all that. That and many things, and because, like I said before,
are you calling me out, Anthony, on the Reiki over here, or what?
and I didn't have anybody to stop it. You know what I mean? To tell me, well, that's not real. You know what I mean? That's an imaginary thing. That's not really what you're talking to. So I didn't have that. So it just kept on following its path into my life now. But that also discovered too is that a lot of things that you do that you did when you start to remember that if you can and you stay with it, you may remember what you used to do. It'll work to a certain extent, but it won't work like it used to work. I just heard her say that, and it clicked with me. It won't work the way it used to work because it's old. You know what I mean? It's kind of like yesterday's stuff. It's still good to know it, and it'll still work, but it won't be as powerful as it was back there. Because in this one here, it's more like it's for you to take it to the next level, so you can continue to grow and grow and grow, and it'll be something different. It'll be like it, but it'll be something different.
Do you know how I started doing magic when I was young? You won't believe this. Does anybody remember He-Man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Orko? The little red figure that had the hat. He would float around He-Man doing the magic.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I never liked He-Man.
Well, if you look at Orko's comic books, they had real necromancer prayers in there and how to raise the dead.
Wow.
A lot of the cartoons back there were like that, man.
Yeah.
I learned how to go up to like a dead bumblebee and do the Orko prayer, and the bumblebee would come back to life. It'd be like, oh wow, this is cool. What can I make come to life next? Or you put a bumblebee in a jar in front of you and you speak the incantation and the bumblebee dies in front of you. You're like, oh wow, I can manipulate this. Can I do it to my mom? That's who you become.
We have a lot of subjects in school, a lot of guinea pigs in school. I know I did in elementary school, man. I had a whole bunch of them. Let me try it on that one.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Here screaming and crying.
Just running out of the room with his hair on fire.
I learned from a young age to keep my mouth shut and not say anything, because I could sit in whatever grade I was in, and I would be thinking, that person's going to have an accident, or something's going to happen, or whatever the case is, and I just wouldn't say anything. And then 2 weeks later, that person had an accident. It wasn't my doing. I wasn't wishing that upon that person.
But it was your intuition.
It happened.
Your intuition was strong. And people have to realize, us old farts, and we're old now. Growing up, we didn't have internet. So everything we had to learn. So if we wanted to work with a demon, we were in our mama's basement with candles on our hands and knees.
Listening to heavy metal music.
Yeah, down there listening and learning and summoning stuff. You know, you had to do it hands on. And ain't like nowadays. People have it so easy, but they still are so lost.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Man, you're gonna have me the shovel this time, Hertz, man, because now you're starting to get me wanting to talk about also a lot of these mentors that. Oh my gosh, man! I'm gonna stop right there already. That's I'll save that one.
Carol Garcia says the energy that comes out of my hands has gotten stronger as time goes on.
I am a master Reiki, advanced Reiki person, so I understand about the energy in the hands and the healing and how that operates. So if you guys are ever looking for advice on that or need help, just get a hold of me.
Mhm.
Because what happens also with Reiki is when you're giving, you're also taking.
Mhm.
So if you're not getting rid of what you're taking, it all becomes part of you, and that's why people get health problems. They get all that good stuff.
You're gonna be in bed for a month,
Mhm. Yeah.
Another
puking and having diarrhea and everything else.
Oh, please don't go there.
Yeah.
Man, I know right where Anthony was going with that mentor thing.
You just keep poking at it, man. Don't do it, Reggie. I gotta save some stuff for my show.
I was just reading.
No,
as we were going on.
Like, I'm my cat's mentor to show him how to be a proper cat.
Mhm.
Proper cat.
So,
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm going to talk about mentors and how to be a proper mentor.
Yep.
So now I see Reggie down there showing his cat how to lick his ass. That was a bad freaking illustration I just had.
I wish I could lick my ass.
Greg,
oh
Greg.
My God, TMI.
Help him, Greg.
Oh boy.
TMI,
Okay.
way too much TMI. I'm telling you.
Reggie,
About every man on the planet wishes they could bend that way.
No,
Listen, I don't want to know.
that's only for people from outer space that can do that.
Lisa Myers is in the room right now, so you got to be careful what you say. Okay?
I got tears going down my face.
I can see why.
See, you broke Reggie again. You broke Hertz again, Reggie.
Reggie.
I see Reggie as Gumby all of a sudden. Bendo.
Oh,
I'm
man.
Gumby, damn it.
I'm gonna reach my ass. Woo!
God, dang.
Got those big long legs, and you just see them flipping backwards like that.
That brings a whole new name to Pokey, don't it?
I think Hearst was the one asking if this was rated 17 earlier, right?
Well, that brings a whole new name to Pokey's partner, Pokey.
And then she goes in and she says, I bet Greg wishes he could reach his pickle.
Well, it's gone, Reggie. You lost control.
I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
I don't want to know.
Well, this is a different type of dark.
No.
This is a different type of dark side, Anthony.
Yeah, I know what kind of dark. It's been on. Look who my mentor is still.
As long as you don't eat corn the night before, because it never truly.
Oh, I just got that down in time. That could have been a messy scene here.
Oh, man. Carol wanted to know if you had any pants on, Greg.
No, I don't.
Wow.
No, not the corn. There's somebody else that had a show about 6 months ago, and that was all that was about. And that was on Howard, one of Howard's shows. And they got carried away with that. They just went places that even man shouldn't go.
What I'd like to know is when you have gas.
Oh, here we go.
And it smells like corn. It smells like corn, but you haven't eaten corn in like 2 weeks. How does that happen?
I've never had gas smell like corn, so you're blessed. That must be a starseed thing.
Here, eat the corn, Reggie.
My gas always smells like death, so I guess that's who I am.
Oh my God.
Peel the paint, split the leather, you know.
Man.
Tarnish the metal.
Wow.
Oh boy, I'll tell you. That just went poof.
Any of our viewers have any more questions?
I don't think they want to. No.
Not after that.
About Gumby. Don't ask about corn, pickles, or whether we have pants on.
Whatever you do, don't ask any questions Thursday night, please.
I used to be a plumber, and I used to clean drains too. Man, the amount of corn you see in the backed up sewage is amazing.
Oh.
Probably seen corn plants growing too.
Makes you wonder: can you collect it, strain it, clean it, and reheat it? I don't know.
You could probably replant it.
You could probably grow it.
I think if you replanted it, it'd come out to be some pretty shitty corn, though.
They're with his life.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God. God's not going to help.
It depends what God you're calling upon.
Right.
But I'm here if you need me.
Carol.
Man, it's been quite a show.
You got that right.
I'm always worried for like half the day about what I'm going to do for that day's show, and it always comes out this amazing. So I'm going to stop worrying about it and keep winging it.
And eat corn.
Lots of corn.
Listen to corn while you're eating corn, while you're popping popcorn, while you're planning corn.
How come
I always thought
corn?
I've been a musician for since the '80s. I always thought about starting a band, like and call them like Peas and Carrots. Go on tour with corn, and call it the Mixed Vegetables Tour. So I always thought about doing. Hey, it could happen.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is a quiet room, man. That joke just bombed.
You got that right. Anthony isn't even. I think Anthony's asleep.
No, I jumped over somewhere. I'm back.
I've seen his teeth. I've seen his teeth a few times. He's still there.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Pulls that brim down over his eyes so you can't really see where he's looking.
Yeah, that's his lifeline. When I see his teeth shining, I know he's looking at something good on Pornhub.
I cover my eyes.
He probably looked
The
up
eyes are the window to your soul, so I don't need nobody looking into my soul.
Do you have a soul?
Depends who you ask.
So since it's almost 8:49.
Yeah, your countdown.
Why don't we go back to Hearst again? And Hearst, why don't you go ahead?
Hey, Kathy.
There's been a lot of people that have come on since you went ahead and talked about the schools and everything. Why don't you go ahead and mention everything again?
We are known as the Ravens Altar of Darkness. We have a Facebook group on a Facebook group on Facebook. Yeah, there you go. We are a more darker second, we could call it second or left-hand path. We do have darker views, but we also have very good teachings that are not always on the second or left-hand path. So if you're looking into mentorship, finding out who you are, mediumship school, magic school, dark magic school, blood magic, one-on-one mentorship. I mean, I offer everything. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, but I'm there, to help. We do mediumship readings. I do which I call God's Infernals readings, where if you don't know who you're connected with, I can literally help you connect with who you work with. We got a paranormal team called Nevermore Paranormal. I got a whole paranormal team that we operate with. So I am the person that you need in your life that you didn't even know about. So hello, baby. I had to plug Ken Allen right there.
Kathy Pelletier Gallagher says.
And don't forget the TikToks, because that's where we really get into it.
Oh yeah, TikToks, we get it. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, our classes are phenomenal. They're awesome. And you have to realize, a lot of people don't know me, but I'm very educated. I get into some very dark discussions. I teach you guys some very good platforms, very good guidelines on how to operate in your daily life. A lot of people don't know me off the camera, but once you do, you'll realize, damn, hers is a lot different.
Yeah, he doesn't wear any pants either, Greg.
No, I actually got shorts on.
I got shorts on too.
What does Reggie got on?
I don't want to know. He might have his space outfit on.
He's lifting his leg up again. There he goes. He discovered his new ability.
I wear sweatpants year round.
Kathy, can you put the name of me in the chat, please, so everybody knows where to find me, please? Thank you, Kathy.
Sweatpants with pockets.
Well,
is she the lady that was on the show one of the nights that I watched you? The redhead?
No, that's Candy.
That was close. Starts Candy Kathy.
Yeah, it goes Kathy, Candy, Cunt. That's how it usually goes by.
Okay. Probably shouldn't have asked that.
This show would never be the same.
Yes, I know. Well, Reggie, your ratings just went down 180%.
Yeah. You're down to your last minute, Reggie. Your countdown.
Yes.
What? I'm seeing 7 minutes.
You've been on an hour 49 minutes.
Actually, there's no show that follows me on the network, so I could be on. I've been on for 4.5 hours on a Tuesday.
Yeah. You can be on all night if you pull out that box.
Oh yeah. And I don't have to pull it out. It's all ready to go. Just a couple buttons to push. Constantly.
I have kind of like a silly question, I'll say. When I've been to a couple of Paracons, and they have the different vendors and things like that. When you first go in, they usually have the vendors that have the haunted objects, dolls, articles, things like that. Is it possible? Now, I try to avoid them at all. I don't look, and I just go right into the other sections. Now, is it possible that they could attach to you any of those dolls or articles?
That goes back to if you know how to ground, shield, protect. What do you wear? Are you wearing a necklace? Do you have a special ring? As long as you're protected and guarded, you're okay. If you're not, yes, they can jump on and go for a ride.
Yeah, I've heard them described as fleas. Like when a dog goes somewhere, he gets fleas, brings them back, gives them to the other dog. Some of these beings or entities, whatever you want to call them, they just hitch a ride because they want to move and they jump somewhere else on somebody else. So like fleas on the dog.
Okay.
and you're saying when you go like around vendors, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Okay.
one of our Paracons is when you first go in, they have the vendor, and he or she
Yeah.
have the haunted dolls, the haunted objects, and
I'll be honest with everybody that's listening that when I've went in or went by these vending tables, unless I know the person, I think everything on the table's fake. I automatically assume it's fake, and the table don't even bother me. I walk right by it.
Well, wait till next year. Wait till next year. I'll be vendoring at them. I'll be a guest speaker at a lot of these, and we'll have to put big warning signs up. Reggie, this table ain't fake.
Well, I've gotten to know you a little bit, but if I've never met the person, there's so many.
That's really the wrong way to look at it, though, saying it's fake, because that's once again not giving it respect.
Right.
And that's going in with like, oh, I'm not scared of you. You're not giving respect to the other side. So a normal person, not protected by Elf or Mork and Mindy, could have problems. Reggie's protected by Elf and Mork and Mindy, so he works with a different side. But the normal person, don't go in there with that attitude of it's fake, it ain't real. Go in there and respect it for what it is. If it's fake, it's fake. But if it's real, you also want to respect it for what it is, because when you sit there and like close your eyes and run through it and like, I'm not going to get touched, they can sense that. Spirits know. Spirits can sense things that ain't correct and things like that, and they can jump on. So unless you're Reggie with Elf and Mork and Mindy, and the Care Bears.
Well, and you got
respect it.
But you also
the Ewoks.
Another way that I look at it too, though,
Rainbow Bright,
along the same lines. What Hurst was saying is correct when it comes to your average person. I manifest. So if I look at a doll and there's nothing attached to it, but I make myself feel like there is an attachment to it, there's probably going to be a spirit come up and attach themselves to that doll just for my purpose. You know what I mean? So I don't, it's not that I don't respect spirit, but I don't buy like half of what like 50% of the people are trying to sell out there until if I get to know them and I can see that they're like as legitimate as like Anthony and Hurst and Greg, and then that's a whole different ball of wax. But I don't walk by disrespecting. I just walk by like.
Well, if you think about it, Richie, I mean, when you say it, even in your mind, well, that's fake. Because you may not say it out loud, but you say it. It's like Hurst was saying, and I understand that you're actually challenging it. Because like Hurst says, this thing is going to see you, and it's going to hear you. It's going to know. It's going to, it's going to hear you. So in your mind, you're actually challenging it, and it's going to take you up on that challenge. That's where that attachment is going to come from.
And we're getting bracelets made for Reggie very soon, guys. They'll say, "What would Reggie do?" So you can look down at your wrist and literally ask yourself on every situation, "What would Reggie do?" So they're coming, guys.
That sounds pretty good, man.
This is what would happen to me, Anthony. All right. There's nothing possessing this doll. There's a spirit all the way on the other side of the auditorium that heard my thought.
What is Reggie doing on the second floor? Second floor of the building.
Not really the doll.
What's he hanging up there for?
Yeah.
The utmost respect.
Mm-hmm.
and admiration for the things we do not know.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, those Paracons, it's kind of, or Paranormal Fest, all these events. It's like I said before. It's also antique stores. You wanna sometimes stay sharp. You know what I mean? If you get a little dull, you get bored. Go to an antique store. And keep your senses sharp. That way you can pick up on little things like that. Because when you go to because at the Paragon, the antique stores is one thing because they're just sitting there, but the Paragons, also too, you don't know who that person is. Some of these people would just maybe out there just be vengeful. You know what I mean? They got a vendor, they're selling stuff, but every item that they put something on it. For the person to come get it.
To add to you, Anthony, we're going to tag team real quick because we're almost out of time. Most of the people with Fearcons and Paracons are very vetted. And when I say vetted, they're very background checked. They have to have proof that their stuff is legit and haunted.
Yeah, that's true. It is. I've gone through that.
So you have to take it with knowing that what's there is legit because of the background and what it is and what they're paying for that space. Right. You have to realize some of those spaces they're paying $5,000 to $10,000 for to be there for 2-3 days. And to pay that kind of money, you're not going to bring just a fake item and hopefully you don't get a bad name by doing it. Your stuff's going to be legit.
Yeah. Yeah, they do, but I had to go through that before.
Yeah.
When I went ahead and was down in the Keys this last trip, and I went down to see Robert the Doll. And I haven't been up to, what's her name, up there on the East Coast?
Annabelle,
but I've seen Robert before. And the last time I saw Robert was in a different location, and they had moved him. Now where he's at, he's in his element. Totally in his element. Before he was in the corner of a second-story house where he actually became Robert the Doll. And since then, they moved him to this fort. And all sides are open. In other words, the whole entire room, he's in the middle of the room. He's the center of the attraction. He's the center attraction. And he comes on very, very strongly. And
so he likes being the attraction. He likes
but you still have to go ahead and ask him permission to take his photograph, which I have no qualms about, because when I got ready, I was there all by myself, and I was talking with him and just talking. And saying, boy, this is really wonderful where you're at and everything. And, I'd really love to take a couple pictures. Is it okay if I take a couple pictures of you? And then I just started taking pictures. But when I walked away from there, I said goodbye to him like you should, like if he's a friend of yours in the middle of the block. And you just run into him, because that's the only way I know how to address it.
Yeah. Well, I see another comment real quick before we go that someone said they've seen at Paracons and places like that, fake items. You've seen wires to set off EMF, things like that. If you see that stuff, go to the main director of that show and let them know, because they will be put out for that. If it's a real Paracon Fear Fest, if it ain't just a city slicker made up by somebody show, if it's a legit show and that stuff's happening, let the director know. Let me know, because the lady that sets these up is one of my teachers. She's well known. I have her on speed dial. So you let me know who it is, what booth it is, their number, their name, whatever. I'll make a phone call, and it'll be taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, Annabelle people sort of fear a little bit more. I don't know why. I think though, out of the two, that Robert's probably the more real.
Yeah, Robert would be more. I've been to their Paracon or event or whatever you would call it, and I've seen Annabelle. I've seen the various things they have from the museum. So,
I kind of laugh at Robert the Doll and Annabelle. I don't think they're as dark as some of the dolls I have.
No, I don't necessarily feel that Robert is dark.
I don't even believe that the same original entity that was in Robert is in Robert no more.
That could be the case too.
Yep.
There'd be only one way to find out, right?
Well, with today's technology, you have to ask to take pictures, but spirits can hop into pictures and move with them like portals. So now everybody has Robert the Doll on their phone. Now everybody's walking around with Robert Doll in their pocket. Nothing's happening. And when you show your family that picture, are you asking the picture, can I show you my family? No, you're just popping out the picture, right, and showing it. So you're still not asking for permission to further that picture along, and nothing's happening.
Right.
The original Robert the Doll, if anybody took a Polaroid picture of it on the way home, their car would crash. You've seen people die. Their house would catch on fire. Wherever that picture would land, there would be bad shit going on. And that's not happening now. So it goes back into investigation. You know, I don't want to say it ain't real, but I would really want to do an investigation to see what's really going on, because what used to happen is not happening no longer.
There's been a lot of people who've been saying that. I just went with it.
If everybody can get a hold of them, I'll have to send an email, get 100,000 people to sign it, and have me come and hold Robert down and give him a kiss. So we'll see what's going on. I'm game.
He's like in a big glass cage.
Take him out. Let me kiss him. I'll do it.
He'd probably get excited because that's a set, form of affection.
Yeah, I do it. I touch him barehanded, and I wouldn't hold him in the glass if I had him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't ask for permission either.
I think that when they put him in a glass box like that, I think it's more for his protection than anything else.
I think it's for show.
Do you?
Why? I wouldn't. I'd probably hold any doll on the planet.
Once again, Reggie, you haven't been around me yet.
I hear that, Anthony.
Are you talking about a haunted doll or a sex doll?
Nah, seriously though, I would hold any doll on the planet.
Can you imagine having a haunted sex doll? And that would be a whole new history right there.
Oh my god!
A vibrating haunted sex doll.
Put your penis in the portal.
Oh man. Yeah, they got ones that make vocal sounds and everything now. It would be totally fucked up. Pardon my language, guys. Out of nowhere, this doll started bitching you out. Like the doll's head turns towards you and starts openly talking to you. Oh my god.
Reggie, I can save you the money. I can get a hold of a succubus or incubus. What do you need?
Man, a succubus would be amazing.
I do rent them for $19.99 per day. Just get a hold of me. But you have to bring them back cleansed, washed.
Rent
yes.
A succubus? You're a succubus pimp? You're a pimp to the succubus?
That's right.
That's like a U-Haul price, $19.95.
Well, I didn't tell you how much per mile yet.
Oh, good.
Well, with that note, Reggie, you're over it right now already.
Ride that succubus with caution, because the miles are going to be $1.89 a mile.
Man.
And we don't go by miles, by stroke. 1 stroke, 2 stroke, 3 stroke, 4.
Ride my seesaw.
I better check my Mega Millions numbers. So
we do sell an unlimited package for succubuses too. Just get a hold of me.
All right.
Red hair, blonde hair, green hair, whatever. Red eyes, yellow eyes.
All out. I'd like a threesome with 2 succubuses.
You want 2 succubuses and an incubus to make it more fun. I understand. We got you.
I don't. What is going on here right now?
Pardon me to all the viewers. I love you. I am so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's too late for that. I think they've all left.
Oh man.
All right.
Next show, The Possession from Succubus to Reggie. The aliens didn't save him this time.
This has been one heck of
They joined in.
a episode.
All right, I gotta run.
I do too. Appreciate it, guys.
Getting ready to end the show, and so
Okay.
thank you everybody for watching.
Anthony, good to see you.
Greg,
Adriana,
see you back.
Thank you. Nice to see everybody. Great.
It's been an amazing show.
I'll be going Friday.
Best friend paranormal.
See you in a week.
Oh, yeah, have a good night.
Good night.
Reggie.